Yeah. All right. 300 packs of Allegiance starting now. We're going to see what elites we pull. Nothing so far. That I like to see. This is one of the first mechanics we're going to get to play around with later today. So if you have some time, you're sticking around, you want to see some matches, we're going to be playing all day. And our first deck is going to have this guy in it. In fact, I suspect it's going to have 4 of that guy in it. Let's check this thing out. Tempest Mark 5, 7k237 has +4 attack on enemy turns. Okay. So 7/7 for 7 on enemy turns. With ambush. Oh, okay, that's a big deal. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. French resistance getting in here. We might try a deck like this later today. We're definitely trying a mobilized deck later today. I definitely want to play around with this mechanic as well. Anyway, let's move. Let's not linger too long, or we'll be here for a while. Fiat G55. This, I think, is going to be a format staple. I think. Could be wrong. Ooh, SU85. A little bit different artwork than what was originally spoiled. I think I like the other one a little bit more, but that one looks pretty cool too. 25th Panzer Grenadier. This one's new to me. Has guard while in the front line. That's interesting. This is the only German guard, I believe. So that's kind of a big deal. And it's a pretty big, beefy boy too. 4K145 is not bad already, and then with a keyword, that's decent. Yes, it needs to move into the front line first, but I mean, considering that this is a keyword that's rare in Germany, there could be something here. There could be something here for more of a mid-range German deck. Interesting. What are these card backs? Does that mean... I just noticed that now. Ooh, we got our first elite. This is our first elite, ladies and gents. And it's a German one too. I gotta take note of this. But my question now is, what are those? What are these? Are these the? So those are the allegiance. Okay. So they don't have a card. They don't have a card back themselves yet. This is another card I expect. We will be playing around with this card later today with the other Italian flyer. Spoiler War, Shibata, nice. What's the big one? Lurking Danger, number 1. I'm not a countermeasure player, so that's not like super exciting to me, but any elite is kind of exciting anyway. Lurking Danger. That maybe we just have to play a countermeasure deck later today now because of this. Savoy Cavalieria. This is going to be a part of another deck we play today. Whoa, look at this guy. Keyword soup over here. Mobilize Fury Smokescreen at the start of your turn. -1 operation cost if mobilize. And I'm assuming that accumulates. That's an interesting card. 1/1/1 mobilize Fury Smokescreen. So he just sits in Smokescreen, getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you can keep this around for 3 turns, it becomes like a 4/4 Fury with 0 cost, and it has Smokescreen, so it's a little easier to do that with. That's interesting. Man, I was planning on playing a US France mobilized deck. Now I want to play it with Britain. That's a sweet card. MiG 3. Cost 2 credits to deploy if an enemy countermeasure triggered this turn. Interesting. A little bit of sort of indirect countermeasure, anti-countermeasure tech there. I saw this one before. When you deploy a unit this turn, deal 1 damage to it and gain 1 credit. So all those German Blitz tanks that have like really high defense, they're basically all free the turn you play this. So you can just rush them all out, get them to the front line, Blitzkrieg, have a really nasty turn. Or just a really nasty turn 1, really. Play them all out turn 1. Turn 2, you like Fast Heinz, which gives them back the 1 defense essentially, but gives them +2 attack each as well. That could be interesting to play around with in a blitz deck. Well, we got our second elite, ladies and gents. See anything here? Give a friendly tank or infantry +2/+2. It must attack each turn it's destroyed. That's an interesting one. Very restrictive. It could backfire on you, but the fact that it's so cheap and provides such a substantial buff, you just wait. You just make sure you use this on a turn where you can get the buff or get at least 1 attack in guaranteed to get some value off of it. But maybe don't use it on like one of your big units that the enemy's going to be looking to pin anyway, because if they pin your unit, you just lost it. All right, elite number 2, Parade. Draw a random unit from your deck, duplicate it. What? That's pretty sweet. I definitely want to try that now in a Soviet like mid-range, maybe even ramp deck. That is cool. That is sweet. Not in a weenies deck. 1 elite, 1 special. An ally special. We'll see what it is. A friendly unit that gets +1 attack and operates for 1 less this turn. I'm highlighting all the cards we haven't seen in spoiler season, by the way. So if you guys aren't on the KARDS Discord, these are all new to you, but I'm focusing on the ones that we haven't been discussing over there yet for the last 2 weeks. A friendly unit gets +1 attack and operates for 1 less this turn. That's not bad. I'm always on the lookout for operation cost reducing effects. I find that they're some of the most powerful in the game when within the context of, say, like in a more aggressively slanted deck especially. So I'm always on the lookout for effects like this. This could be interesting to play with. And it's not that expensive, decent body for what you're paying for, and then a +1 attack and -1 operation cost to do, just to get like a head on board, a head on tempo. That's pretty good. All right, let's go to the special now. Human Torpedo. This is an interesting one. Hard removal, but only for the support line. Destroy target enemy unit in the support line. I'm gonna have to look up the history on that card too, because that is interesting. Next. Oh, we got a big beefy boy. B29 Super Fortress, 15k 4, 9/9 Blitz Heavy Armor 2. Costs 3 less to deploy if you control the front line. Okay. So if you don't control the front line, you better be a ramp deck or you're never playing this card. If you can get the front line though, you can play, any deck in theory could play this. Well, I guess US only because it is elite. But you want to be attacking with it the turn it comes down just to make sure it doesn't get annihilated immediately. So yeah, this is like just a big beefy ramp payoff. That is awesome. That is sweet. I like how all the biggest, baddest US cards have blitz on them just to ensure that you can, if you ramp enough, get some value out of them the turn they come into play. I wonder what you're running with this card to ensure that you can get the front line consistently in the ramp deck. Maybe Seaborn Invasion is worth looking into. I mean, the card was already decent in those decks anyway to regain control, but now it has like a little bit of extra utility with this, so that's neat. Let's move on. We've only got through 7 packs. We got to speed it up, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm going to look at all the cool new cards, that's for sure. Counter offensive. Target infantry or tank gets +1/+1 for each damaged unit on the battlefield. Interesting. Do some winter warfare. Give something like this. Then repair all your stuff with that 1-cost Soviet repair. I can't remember what it's called. Tamanskaya. I think that's how it's pronounced. Any native Russian speakers out there can let me know if I butchered the pronunciation. For 4 credits, but 3 cards, admittedly. Deal 1 Winter Warfare, deal all damage to everything. Give one of your things plus X, depending on how many there are. Then Tamanskaya, repair them all. That'd be funny. That's an interesting card. Cool. We were over on Cybernetic Stream and we were talking about this card for a little bit before I went live. This one seems interesting. These are all cards. Well, no, not this one. That were spoiled. This one I also saw over on Cybernetic Stream. Give any target 1+1 defense. Okay. Short and sweet and simple. Not too impressive of a unit considering it's a guard. But giving something +1 defense, gives it so much more survivability. Oh, it counts itself. It can give itself defense too. So at the very least, you're throwing down a 1/4 guard for 2. It's not awful. A bunch of Alliance cards in this pack. Colonial Dreams. That's just a great card name. The player with the most units in hand draws 2 cards. Interesting. This is interesting because Italy has a lot of these like cheap units that you want to dump out on the field. Like especially that one plane that costs 0. But if you hold on to them for too long, you might be locked out of playing them and then not get to play this card. Or furthermore, you play this, you draw a bunch of cards, but now your hand's too full. I don't know, that would be interesting. Stug 3G. Damage from Stug 3G ignores heavy armor. Yeah, that's a powerful text box. Not the greatest stats on the unit to take advantage of it, but I mean a 3k1 3/3 is pretty solid anyway. That's not bad. That's interesting. +4 attack on your turn, so you get a 4k2 6/4 tank. Yeah, not bad. Savoia Cavalleria. Yeah, we're gonna be playing with you very soon. Well, not very soon because we have over almost 300 packs still to go through. All the Alpine Resistance. This one's new to me. When a friendly unit is destroyed, your HQ gains +4 defense. It's countermeasure, 1 cost countermeasure. Yeah, okay, that's not bad. That's a pretty good rate, honestly. 1 for 4. That's a pretty good rate. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that seeing some play over some other heal effects potentially, or just in addition to. But we'll see. All right. UK Elite. Shelling. This was one of the first cards spoiled ever for this set, and this is a nasty one. It's like a Monty met a naval operations, met a daylight bombing. It's just really nasty. Pin all enemy units, deal 1 damage to them, or maybe not quite in that order, and then the enemy loses a credit slot. Pretty much, I don't see why. If you're a British control deck, you're running this card for sure. There's no reason not to run this card. This is a must. Deployment, pin enemy unit. Destruction, pin all enemy units. Mobile defense, add 2 T70 to your support line. Destroy them at the start of your next turn. Which one's T70 again? Is that the 3/2 tank with guard? That must be mobile defense. Yeah, I think that's what that is. That's interesting. So you can't use them that turn because those tanks don't have blitz unless you find some way to give them blitz. But I mean, it's just if you're in a desperate situation, you need the guard units. That could be cool. And of course, if you're running that 04, they force themselves next to your HQ. So even if they won't come from the right. So even if you have stuff in your support line, they'll all sit next. That's pretty good. Yeah, and if you have the 0-4 infantry out, then this will give you another +4 health too. So that's pretty sweet. Got a special. Gunboat Raid. This is a card I'm very interested in trying. Yeah, it's gonna... Okay, it's running through all the different... This is a card that generates a bunch of cards, so I'm interested. Ooh, a new talent. I gotta read that one too. This is a card I'm scared of very much. Orders you give this turn, deal +1 damage. Watch out for the big burn decks. I think we're gonna get burned all day today, but we'll see. We're gonna have to find ways to deal with Japan burn whenever we're considering building our decks, because I think burn's gonna be the boogeyman on the ladder today. We're gonna see. But let's read this card. I'm very much interested in this card. So first of all, it's a 4 cost, deal 3 damage to an enemy unit in the front line. So not bad, not a bad conversion rate. You're limited to dealing damage to units in the front line, but 4 for 3 isn't bad. And then it generates another card, Gunboat Hit, which says deal 2 damage to enemy in the support line, and it only costs 1. So that's a really good rate. A 1 for 2, and then it creates another card, Gunboat Run, which is a 1 cost, deal 1 damage to the enemy HQ. But if you can't pay that cost, then that card just gets discarded at the end of turn. Oh, the other card gets discarded too at end of turn. So you have to have 6 credits open to take full advantage of this card, which is a little expensive. But if you can, it's just crazy value. Because it's dealing 6 damage for 6, but across the board. It's dealing 3 to the front line, 2 to the support line, 1 to the HQ. So 6 damage for 6 cost is not bad. And for a deck like Commandos, for example, that wants you to play as many orders as possible, you're getting a lot of value out of your turn with something like this. And even just with something like this and the other similar effects that exist in the game, up all the damage that each piece of this card deals by 1, it's crazy value. These two together. All right, what is this? What is this? This is a sweet artwork. 4K157. That's a big, beefy infantry unit. Reduce the attack of this unit by 1 each time it is attacked to a minimum of 1. Interesting. That's kind of interesting. If you get you can use this card offensively or defensively. Like, you could throw it in the front line and like enemies have to fight through this. It's dealing a lot of damage to them, especially after the first 2 attacks. That's interesting. All right, what's the special? The Sonya. When Key 51 Sonya attacks a pinned unit, destroy that unit. This will be, I think, because of the number of pin effects that exist in this game, I think there could very well be a like pin-focused control deck where this card sees a lot of play. I think the most important part about this card is that it says its effect triggers just when it attacks a unit. So it doesn't matter if the unit has heavy armor 1 or more, or ambush or anything like that. If it's pinned and this attacks into it, it's going to be destroyed. At least that's what I'm reading from it. That's what I understand. I think we now have all of the 3rd Alpini regiment already, so that's cool. -3 attack until the start of your next turn. That is some great artwork too. All enemy units in the support line have -3 attack until the start of your next turn. Okay. So when that like turn where the opponent was relying on a bunch of like beefy guard units to stop your onslaught, you throw this down, and now your units trade more effectively into them, or just eat them up completely without taking damage, depending on how tough the guard unit is. That's pretty good, considering all the amount of really beefy guard units that are being added to this set. This is a little bit of counterplay to them, so I'll be interested to see how good this is. And this, considering the number of pinning effects that are in the game. Fully repair target ground unit. If it is pinned, remove pin. This is the only effect like this that exists in the game, so it's a unique effect, so that's something to pay attention to. Like, again, especially considering how much pin effects are in this game. Just a solid bomber. 3K223, not bad. There's that first airborne again. That's neat. Yep, we've seen all these cards before. At some point, we're gonna get to the point where, ooh, this is a card I was excited to see when it was first spoiled. 2K123 infantry, already a decent body for the cost, but gets +1/+1 when it moves to the front line. So a 3/4 infantry for 2. By the first time it can operate, assuming you can get the front line right then, that's decent. Really good mid-rangey card. And this is a new one too. I think we're gonna see a little bit in. We're gonna play around with this card a little bit later today when we get to a what is it called? Combined arms deck. Give friendly ground units in the front line plus attack, +1 attack on deployment. So you're gonna have to wait for a turn where you have like 2-3 units in the front line, slap this down, and maybe you have enough credits left over then to slap down something that wants like unit variety on the field. This will count as the fighter. Could be good. We'll have to see. That's the first type of deck I thought of when I saw that card at first. Okay, Valentine Mark III, 3K224 Fury. So kind of expensive operating cost for a Fury unit, but decent stat line. I mean, Fury units can always be scary, so you have to watch out for that. 845th rifle. This one's new to me, I think. When this unit is dealt damage, your HQ gets equal amount of defense. Nope, they just had a different piece of artwork for it for the spoiler season. This is a great card. We're gonna be playing with this one later today when we get around to a Soviet mid-range deck. This is cool. This, I think, this is something that the Soviets were missing a little bit, because the Soviets have like such a great mid-range units, and like once they turn the corner against aggro or burn, like they can close out the game real quick. But they always had that problem of just being a little bit too low, and then they just get burned out of the game. So they need more heal effects like this to help them do that, to stabilize a little bit better. And yeah, this will be cool. I wanna try this out with like some US buffs, for example. We can do it. Give this +3 defense. You essentially give your HQ +3 defense. Well, the we can do it gives your HQ +3 defense, and then when this thing can take 3 more damage, which will give it +3 defense, assuming it's not hit by removal. But yeah, a lot of value. If you have like 2 of these guys out and you play a we can do it, that's a lot of potential healing. Whoa, this I like. Remember when I said I get excited about 0 operation cost units? Give target infantry or tank with 0 operation cost +2 attack. Holy smokes. It doesn't make them any more resilient, but you want this effect normally in an aggressive deck anyway. This works with the new Italian tank that we've seen that's got Blitz. This works with the new Japanese tank that we just saw a couple packs ago, our last pack, the 1K011. This works with the Japanese Fury infantry unit. Just imagine if that unit wasn't kill on sight before when it hits your front line, or when it hits the front line, you better kill it again, because if they're packing sneak maneuver in their deck too, that thing can deal 8. And that's assuming that's the only sneak maneuver they have in hand, or that's assuming that's the only buff they have for that thing in hand. That's scary. That's interesting. Maybe we need to try a German-Japanese like tank blitz deck with all the 0 cost tank and infantry. Try that out. Aerial reconnaissance. When the enemy deploys a unit, reduce cost of all orders in your hand by 1. That is interesting. I keep using that word, but I don't want to I'm trying not to say anything's good or bad. because we don't know yet, right? We got to jump into some games and actually get to play with these cards to see how good, bad, or otherwise they could be. But this I like. Obviously for order heavy deck, this is great because this could effectively generate you, I don't know, 4, let's say, resources of value easy. Pay 1 now. It essentially pays for 4 other cards, like -1 later. Yeah. Ooh, a new Panzer. I'm hyped. I'm hyped already. Give a friendly non-tank unit +1 attack. Okay then. 1k 113 tank, solid. Give a non-tank +1 attack. So obviously this is saying please play me in a co-arms deck and a combined arms deck. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna try that one out. Yep. Nice. Call to the colonies. Choose one. Your HQ gains +8 defense or draw 2 cards for 5. That's pretty good. The flexibility on that's great. Like 8 for 5 might not seem that great when you get like 7 for 3 from Britain, but the flexibility of this is what's important. And I honestly, this might be one of the better choose one cards in the game because of that. It's like, oh, you're behind, you're feeling, your HQ's feeling a little unhealthy, heal. You've stabilized in the late game, you don't need 8 defense anymore, draw cards. Yeah, that's a really good one. No retreat. Destroy a friendly unit. Your HQ gains defense equal to the unit's defense. Okay. So this is interesting because it lets you squeeze out just a little bit more value out of your units that you don't suspect are going to survive, like to your next turn. But chances are, if you're thinking that, it's because they don't have a lot of defense left. So I don't know. That's an interesting, but it's still, like I keep saying, it's an interesting card, and I like the artwork. That's just some great artwork. This one is another interesting card. This one I want to see how effective this is. Remove cards from the top of enemy deck equal to resistance cards in enemy hand. So you get a heavy resistance strategy going, and this hits even just once, it could be devastating. I was thinking you play this in a US deck that's running Patton. Maybe you ramp a little bit, and during during the initial turns of the game, you're ramping, you're putting resistance cards in the enemy hand, and then at some point you slap down Patton and can get like maybe 1 or even 2 of these to get blitz, and then you just hit the enemy. Or the units. It doesn't actually have to target the HQ. It's just whenever this attacks. It could attack anything. And then it just mills them a bunch. That could be interesting. This may distribute 3 damage between all enemies. I wonder if like a US based commandos deck wants something like this. Just like more pings, more 1 damage across the board. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's not good enough for something like that. But that's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. There's another Fiat that we want to try. Another one of these Italian air. We're definitely going to try and give a unit with guard +1/+3. That's pretty good. That's a really good rate for a buff anyway. Yeah, it's restrictive, but the decks that are running this are basically going to only have guard units in it anyway. So that's really good. Scary, scary guards everywhere. Yep, we've seen all of these before. Got a special. Raid. Cards in enemy hand cost 2 more next turn. Okay. That could be, yeah. Here's one of the new order generating cards. Add a reserves to your hand. I'm not sure how good it really is, because like some of us were discussing before, what do you replace in the tokens deck to fit this in? Maybe there's a more mid-rangey deck that wants something like this. I don't know. I mean, even outside of a light infantry spam deck, this is still pretty good. I mean, a 5k146 is a decent body, and then you're just getting extra value out of it. So maybe you just put it in an infantry focus deck. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be generating a ton of reserves for it, perhaps. Because like even the 3 reserves that all 3 of these in your deck would generate gets you a lot of value. So I'm gonna start going through these a little bit faster unless we run across something new or something like this. There's a new beefy guard unit from France. 7k239 guard. At the start of your turn, each non-French unit you control gets +1/+1. Yeah, that's a really powerful effect. Pretty expensive, so it comes down late. So the question is +1/+1. You know, how many units you're gonna have on the field at that point, and is the +1/+1 really gonna do much? But I mean, there's no denying those stats. That's just a great stat line for a guard unit, and it's a powerful effect. So yeah, overall, that's a really good card, I think. We'll see how effective it actually becomes. Oh, we already got 1 duplicate. We started today with 4,001 resources, so we've already hit a 5th copy of a standard card in the new set. All new here. New Soviet bomber, the Night Witches. Watch out for the Night Witches. Ooh, the new Japanese guard unit. This thing's beefy. 4/7 guard for 5 is decent, but what's notable about this card is that it's immune to 2 of the main weaknesses that guard units have in this game for the most part, and that's Amphibious Assault, which kills all units with attack. Well, not all units. It kills target unit with attack 3 or less, and the Hammer, which can deal 6 damage to a ground unit. So this is out of range of both of those cards. You have to spend a little bit more effort to get rid of it. So that's why it's notable to me. And now we got a gold one, so that's really cool. So now it's extra scary for our aggro and mid-range opponents. Here's one of the another one of the order generating cards. 5k2 3/3 bomber. Add a gunship mission to your hand. Solid value, and that is just great artwork. Naval Task Force. Choose one. Add a naval bombardment to your hand, or add a supply shipment to your hand. Interesting. That seems like just like a solid mid-range card. Have you lost the front line? Use naval bombardment. Do you have the front line again? Supply shipment. Very flexible. We're seeing how good this card is later today. Any unit with 0 cost is worth paying attention to. This is a very restrictive text box though, but we'll see. Ooh. 3k1 3/3 heavy armor 1 deals double damage against tanks. Wow, that's nice. That's a nice little tank. I like that. I think that's going in our Germany-Italy combined arms deck later. That's a great combined arms target. Give this thing like +2/+2 or +3/+3. That's crazy. Special. Second Brigade. Mobilize guard at the start of your turn. Give +1/+1 if mobilized. Interesting. So it gets +1/+1, and then it gives +1/+1 to something else. Wow, that's great. I like that. Yeah, that is cool. Maybe a bit expensive considering considering its stat line, but the thing is, just like, if it lives for one turn, that's just a ton of value already. Like most mobilized units, they need to trigger maybe 2 or more times for you to start getting value off of them. This just once, I think. I could see this in a more mid-rangey deck too. Like if you get some of those earlier units to take the front line and then you slap this behind them, the enemy might have a harder time dealing damage to this, and then it's just going to keep triggering every turn. You're just going to keep... It's going to keep getting bigger, and the new units you keep bringing to the front line that your enemy's desperately trying to get through just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. New tank. New the Hummel. This is a card I'm definitely interested in playing around with more. The new bounce card in German decks. If you control a tank, target enemy unit must retreat. That's just, yeah. Crazy value card. I think we've seen all those already. Yep. Gonna start doing rapid fire now. It seems. Fortified position. Pin target unit, increase its operation cost by 2. Nasty. That is a nasty card. 5k2 4/4 bomber. Just, yeah, that's a solid stat line for a bomber, honestly. Pretty good. I think we now have a full play set of these guys. Mm-hmm. 10th Guard Regiment. Give it +1 attack. Okay, that's not bad. Has a high defense. Like, that's pretty good stat line for an infantry. And then if the more damage it takes, the stronger it gets. 2k2 2/3. F4 F3 Wildcat. This is we skipped past a couple of these before, but I just have to mention this artwork is great, and this is just another one of those flexible cards. Choose one. Enemy units have -2 attack this turn, or deal 4 damage to a ground unit. So 4 damage for 4, not bad already. Yeah, it's limited to just being a ground unit, but again, the flexibility is where a lot of the value of this card comes from. And that's just great freaking artwork, man. This game has some of the best card artwork I've ever seen. Oh, we almost skipped over Mr. 12 Infantry Regiment. This is the big this guy in a ramp deck, late game. Like even if you sat at 12 credits, if you can get to 12 credits, ramp decks can get to 12 credits how fast? Like 5 turns. Drop this guy down, it's +10/+10, so it's like a 12/13. But you can't do anything else that turn because it spends all your remaining credits. So even if you wanted to try to do something cheeky, like patent this guy out to give it blitz so it can at least take the front line, nope, sorry, you can't, because it's got 1 operation cost. You can't do that. And you can't play multiple of them on your turn, because again, just one will spend all your credits. But still, this is just a great credit sink. Like, it's just a great, even in the early game. So a ramp decks, like if you get like a couple of these in your opening hand and you're staring across the table at an aggro deck, you're kind of fine just playing this on 2 or 3, because it's a fine body to help trade into their aggressive units that are going to be chipping away at you. But then in the late game, it becomes a great late game threat. So it's kind of pretty flexible. It's kind of exactly what ramp wants. Early game threat to deal with aggro, late game bomb. Ooh, we got another elite and another special. Let's check the special first. 109th Combat Engineers. I really want to play around with this card. 1k 1/1/1 smoke screen. When a friendly unit moves into the front line, give it +1/+1. So just in like a more aggressively slanted, well, even just in an aggro deck, or even like a more aggressively slanted mid-range deck, I think this is just a great value card. A commando, number 43 commando. 6 cost, 2 operation cost, 3/3 ambush fury. Whenever you give an order, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. Whoa, it's a super commando. It's a super commando, man. Sorry guys, I'm taking a drink of water because my voice is going to start going soon if I don't. So commandos getting a little bit of a nerf in the form of the Crusader. Their little draw engine lost smoke screen and gained a point of defense. So overall, a little bit of a nerf, a little bit more easier for decks to deal with now. This, however, is a notable upgrade to that archetype. That'll be fun to play around with. I know all you Commandos players out there are excited about that one. You might have not liked the Crusader nerf, but you're excited about that Elite, let's be real. Another Hummel, sweet. Gotta get a full play set of those by the end because we're definitely playing around with that very, very soon. Whoa, that's cool looking. Cromwell Mark 4. 4K2, 3/6 heavy armor 1. Give Cromwell Mark for +1 attack when a pinned enemy is destroyed. What? Interesting. So normally you're not incentivized to attack into pinned enemies, right? Because they're not going to attack you for the next turn. But this incentivizes you to do so you can beef it up. But it's also kind of good in the pin control decks that... Did we talk about that yet? There's so many pin effects and pin effects that destroy, like other effects that destroy pinned units, that when paired with this, you're just slowly building up a really powerful unit. That's going to be interesting. I definitely want to try that in one of those style decks and see if it's any good. I just love tanks. Tanks are like my favorite units to play around with in this game. So yeah, we're definitely going to try to make that card work at some point. We'll see if we get around to it today. Put a unit on top of its owner's deck. That with the resistance will be funny. That will annoy a lot of people. It's a little pricey, but I mean, it's super balanced though. So actually, that's probably appropriately, that's probably good enough on its own, honestly. But with resistance to mill the top card of their deck, that's just, now you're just styling on them at that point. Liberation. Fill enemy hand with resistance cards. Your HQ gets +5 defense. Fill the enemy hand with resistance cards. Oh my god. Panther A. 5K2, 5/5 heavy armor 1. Deployment. The enemy does not draw a card next turn. Wow, that's pretty sweet. That is sweet. I love my Panther G from the previous set, the old 7/5 heavy armor one, but I felt like it just wasn't getting play because it just doesn't do anything when it comes into play and it just gets removed immediately. This at least takes away their card draw. That's nice. We might try that too in like a combined arms deck or something. There's so many neat cards in this set. Guys, I can't wait to play. But, you know, we gotta open all these packs first. Can't play with the cards if I don't have the cards. Gotta get the cards. There's another Sonya, so there we go. The pinning control deck. Mud. The legendary card Mud has arrived. This is an interesting one I want to try, see how it works. Spend 7 credits at the end of enemy turn to deploy this from hand. So if you want to run this out and get value out of it, to ensure that you get some value out of it before the enemy removes it, you're gonna have to spend 9 credits. 6 to deploy it, 3 to use it on that turn because it has blitz and you can deal 5 to the HQ. But on turn 7, what you can do is just pass your turn, and then at the end of the enemy turn, this comes into play. So now, that following turn, you can shoot at them for 5 credits, or deal 5 to them for 3 credits. That'll be interesting to play around with. So it's like, so on the surface, if you ignore this text box, it's just a more expensive Hien. I think that's the card I'm thinking of. But the fact that you can bring it in, kind of sneak it in, is what makes it good. So I think if your deck is running Hien, you probably want to consider running some of this instead. I don't think there's any reason to run Hien over this potentially. Maybe in just like a super aggressive... Maybe if Hien is like your top end, and like you know that you just want to play... I don't know. Or sometimes if you find like sometimes you just have the 5 credits and you want to just drop Hien on 5, and then you're winning the game next turn. I guess maybe that's the reason why you wouldn't want to try Tony. But big mobilized unit payoff, or big payoff for running mobilized units. 6K2, 2-5 artillery unit. Very underwhelming stat line for that cost of an artillery. But gets +2 attack for each friendly mobilized unit. So even just one mobilized unit, you're getting a 4-5 artillery for 6, which isn't bad. At 2 or more, this is scary. Whoa, another cool Panzer. 4K125. Deployment. Choose and draw a card from the top 3 of your deck. Put rest on bottom. Awesome. So there's a new card in this set that essentially has this effect on an order called Spoils of War. So this is a Spoils of War stapled onto a pretty decent tank. It's kind of pricey, but I mean in a combined arms deck maybe, because you want the tank to use combined arms on, and maybe you need to find, but before you play it, you need to find like another unit type to get the max value off of it. So I think that's what this is. This is the kind of card. And I think that the Germany's always kind of wanted like a tank in like the 4 cost range to kind of fill out its curve a little bit more, and especially in the more mid-range builds. And this is, I think, a fine card to do that. Combined arms are not. I think that's a fine card to do that with. Oh! I went too fast. Counter-Strike. When an artillery or air unit attacks your HQ, destroy the unit. Wow. So it's like super air defense, kind of. Well, not really. Okay, we're going to save the special. We're going to talk about this card a little more. So, okay, air defense says when an enemy attacks, deal 3 damage to it or destroy it if it's an air unit. This one is like, it's destroy an air unit or artillery unit, but that's it. So it's actually it's bad against aggressive decks that tend to running like tanks and infantry. But in like a control matchup, it's like, in a control matchup, it's going to act like air defense number 2. So that's interesting. That is an interesting card. Elusive Force. The enemy cannot give orders next turn. That's just I don't know how good this card will be. Like I don't know if this card will be run a whole lot, but that's a powerful effect. So I feel like this card has to find a home somewhere because of this effect is just so powerful. And it's unique, right? There's no other card that does this so far. The enemy cannot give orders next turn. Yeah. Well, that's new. Lend-Lease. Draw 4 cards for 7. Super mobilize. Spend more mobilization. Sorry. Spend 2 more to get 1 more card out of a single card. That's decent, I think. All right, let's keep going, guys. We're only 50 packs in. We're gonna be here all day. Whoa, double elite pack. All right, let's see. Which one should we go with first? Got another one of these guys. That's nice to see. Yeah, go for the middle one first. Isolation. Remove target unit from the battlefield. Return at the start of your next turn. Interesting. So one of the first things I thought of was using it on your own unit with like a deploy effect, but that's just an old mentality from like past games. Because in this game, when things return to the battlefield, they don't enter the battlefield again. They won't trigger their deployment effects. So this is not used. You can't do some tricksy stuff with this with your own units, but this just gets rid of a problem unit off the field. And yeah, it's temporary, but the key point for me is that it's a catch-all. Like it's removal for everything at 2. This could be just the card you need to get that final push in an aggressive deck with your units. And it's good because it only costs 2, so you don't have to take too much away from your credit pool to operate those units. This is nice. Get rid of that pesky big beefy guard unit and then just attack in. And you don't care about the second line because you've ended the game. That's nice. I like that. This is one of the cards that was spoiled earlier on in the spoiler season. Royal Ulster Rifles. 4K 1227 smokescreen. Damage dealt to your HQ is dealt to Royal Ulster Rifles instead. So you slap this guy down, and as long as it doesn't get immediately removed, it's buffering your life total by another 7. And every buff that you give to this buffers your life total even more, essentially. Even if they do one big attack, if they get in like a 20, if they try to 20 ball you with a what's it called, with a Commonwealth, this will absorb it all. So this is just a very powerful effect. Gusto Purple, thanks a lot for the follow, man. Hope you're enjoying the stream so far. If you like pack opening, we got a lot more packs to open. If you like games, that's coming up later. We're going to be playing a lot of games with these new cards later today, so stick around. But I appreciate the follow either way. Sneak Maneuver. Yeah, this is a new one I want to try. This is definitely something I want to try. Give a friendly unit mobilize. Giving any friendly unit you want mobilize. And for those who don't know, mobilize is a new keyword that says at the start of your turn, this unit gets +1/+1. When it's damaged, it loses mobilize. So you can give that powerful effect to anything, and at the very bare minimum, you can give it to this unit. So the first time this unit is attacking the next turn, it's a 3/4 that you drop down for 3. That's not bad. So I think we're definitely going to be playing around with this in a mobilize deck later. Yeah, Gusto, thanks for joining the stream. Welcome. Are you a cards player? Are you new to this game, or have you been playing for a while? Are you as excited as I am to try these new cards? Joint Operation. Deal damage to target enemy equal to 1 plus the number of unit types you control. I wondered if we would... As soon as I saw the artwork and started reading this and read the title, I figured, is this a deal damage like combined arms card? It is. That's really cool. That's really cool. Deal damage to target enemy equal to 1 plus the number of unit types you control. So even with just one unit on the field, this is a deal 2 for 2, which is a good rate, honestly. And it can target anything, right? Yeah. Wow, that is a good card. 10 hours so far? Nice. Yeah, this game is unlike any other card game I've played. I've played a lot of card games over the years, and this is one of my favorites, if not my favorite by far. I love the theme. I love the artwork. The dev team nailed the aesthetic with this game. Just like the visuals, the sound effects, everything is awesome. I love the gameplay. I cannot wait to play a combined arms deck now. With the recent buff to the namesake card itself and this card, this is a great card. I think that is an excellent card. Wow, that's a lot of alliance. Got a lot of alliance in here. Join the alliance. Okay, yeah. So you're like you're a card game player for sure then. I'm about 700 hours into this game right now. So special. Oh, here's the new big Italian guard unit. 3K237 guard. Really solid stats for a guard unit. But oop, what is this line? Costs 1 more deploy for each unit you've lost. So even if this is sitting in, even if you haven't drawn this yet, if this is sitting in your deck and you draw this in the mid to late game after you've lost a bunch of units, this thing could be like up to like a 10k. So decks that are going to be able to take advantage of this unit the best are ones that don't play a lot of units in the early game. They might be just like, you know, I could see this card going in, say, the British, Italian, Commonwealth deck that we're playing later today. We'll see. Yep. I think at this point we've seen basically all of the standards and... Whoop, no, that's a new one. Draw a French unit from your deck for each non-French unit in your support line. That's interesting. For each non-French unit in your support line. Okay. I think we've seen the rest of these. We need to start seeing some more Alpine units, that's for sure, because we... that's the first deck we're running today. We haven't seen the 2/2 Alpine regiment that I'm waiting for quite yet. Oh, ask and you shall receive. 2K1 3/3 Alpine. So already this is a solid body, but if you have more Alpine units on the field, this gets even bigger. See here with the text on Alpine, when an Alpine unit is deployed or added, it gets +1/+1 for each other friendly Alpine unit you control. But look at this line of text here, guys. Cannot be targeted by enemy orders. So they can't remove this unless they get a sweeper, but if it's too big, that doesn't work. Death from above might catch them, but if you have a bunch of units on the field, the chances of that are low. So this can be a very hard to deal with unit for them, for the enemy. And it's Alpine, so I mean, you know, we're gonna be trying it out very soon. I think it's good even in non-Alpine decks. Like a 3/3 cannot be targeted is just solid in like mid-range. Well, that's just a solid early game play for any deck, really. But especially in like mid-range decks, I would say. Heck, even German aggro decks want that, I think. Ooh, what did we just passed an 8/8 guard. What's the matter with me? I've never seen that one before. When we see him again, we'll have to... That's our third one of that, so nice 20 resources to bolster our resource total here. Men of Steel. Choose one. Your units have +1 heavy armor this turn, or remove heavy armor from a unit. That is neat. I like that one. Give all your units some damage immunity so you can just go in and like clear a bunch of like little guys out and not take damage. Or just remove heavy armor from a unit. That's cool. That's a very unique effect we haven't seen in this game yet. Remove heavy armor from a unit. I feel like the second line won't get used that often, necessarily. But the first one's kind of interesting. First Marines. We're gonna be playing around with this new US card a little bit later in the day when we get to the US mid-range deck. Just a 3K1 3/4 for Blitz, solid body with a keyword. When this unit moves into the front line, give your HQ smokescreen until your next turn. So kind of a limiting keyword. Like, I mean, you move it into the front line, the only thing that could even attack your HQ before dealing with this guy is going to be air units. But I mean, giving your HQ smokescreen is a powerful effect, even if it is just for a turn. So Yeah, for the last little while, I've just been streaming cards, but it's been a while since I've even done that. I haven't streamed cards for a good few months now, so I'm just getting back into it with this new set, and I plan on streaming more regularly going forward. This and other games, but we're definitely going to be playing cards once or twice per week for the next while. Is my goal anyway. Second Alpini regiment. This is another Alpini regiment. This is the other card we're going to be playing around with in our Alpine deck later. 2/2, 2/2 for 2. That could get bigger depending on more Alpine units you have, but if you have another Alpine unit on the field, you draw a card. So just solid value card. Another Bologna regiment. We got our play set of those. Oh, these guys are... Now they're all showing up. Now all the Alpine guys, they heard my call, and now they're coming to show. They're coming to the party. Typhoon Mark 1B. When a ground unit retreats, draw a card. We might be playing around with this card later today when we get to some of the more tempo deck. We'll see. Yeah, definitely, man. We need this game. Is just awesome. We could use more people streaming it, sharing the love of this game with the world, you know. So, yeah, do that. Golden Henschel, yeah. I'm gonna need a drink of water soon because I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited to try the Alpine units. They're showing up to the party. They're ready. They go. Okay, here we go. This is a card we skipped over before. 6 K2 8/8. At the start of your turn, if this card is in hand, deal 1 damage to your HQ. Okay, so like really above rate infantry unit for the cost. But if it's just sitting in your hand since the start of the game, it's going to be dealing a lot of damage to you. This is another interesting card I wanted to play around with. I just fear that it might be a little too slow. But I like fighters, and I like big chunky fighters like this, so I definitely want to try it. When this attacks, friendly ground units get +1/+1. Yeah, I mean that's a solid effect. Just the question is it a bit too slow because of how expensive it is? But we'll see. +1 blitz rate 10. Yeah, we saw this card before, right? Gets +1/+1 and blitz if your HQ has 10 or less defense. Yeah, for some reason I'm not recognizing this artwork quite as much. But oh, Dutch Totora. Yep, I know him. Yep, I've seen his streams. Sabotage. Deal damage to any target equal to 1 plus the number of resistance cards in enemy hand. Okay. Yep. We might have to try. You know what? A resistance deck was not on my schedule for today, really. But you know, we'll see where you guys. If you guys want to see it, we'll build a resistance deck. It's just not really my play style, but it could be fun. Just because, you know, it's a new mechanic. We want to try it out. Maybe that'll be the first deck I add to at the end after we've gone through kind of our initial 5 or 6 decks. All right. New Soviet Elite. Let's see. Night Witches. Add a Polikarpov PO2 to your support line. Shuffle Night Witches into your deck. So just a constant stream of little bombers constantly annoying the enemy. What other card games have I played? I've played physical and digital a lot. Let's see. I'll just try to stick with the digital ones for now because I think that list is a little shorter. Although I'll mention, I have played MTG Arena. I've played it physically. I've played it, you know, I've played it digitally in many different forms. I've played... okay, hold on. I'll continue that line of thinking once we check out this Japanese Elite. To the Last Man. This was a recently spoiled Japanese card. Quite a simple line of text, but very powerful. Destroy all units, just a board reset. So yeah, we're gonna be playing around with like a Japanese control deck, Japanese big burn deck, I keep calling them. Yeah. That doing something like this, but then it's using like Imperial Decree and all those burn effects as a finisher. Yeah. Okay, what other card games have I played? I have played Magic the Gathering. I've played Hex Shards of Fate. I've played Chronicle RuneScape Legends. I've tried Gwent, didn't care for it. I've tried what was that old? I've tried those kind of like more board gamey like card games where it's card play, but then you play your units on a board like a grid board. What was that one game called? There was one that was like based on Smite or something like that, and then there was one called Duelist. Was it called Duelist? I played that for a while. What else have I played? Yeah. I avoided Artifact. Lucky me, I guess, because that game apparently didn't turn out so well. KV2, 7K3, 6/4, heavy armor 2, cannot be pinned, cannot be attacked by artillery or air units. So the enemy, unless if they do not have removal for this, they have to go toe to toe with it with their ground units. And guess what? Heavy armor 2, 6 attack. They're not gonna get there. This is gonna take out a lot of their units before you can take it down. Yeah, and the list is even longer if you include like physical card games. I like card games a lot. We're gonna be trying that KV2 later when we get to that Soviet mid-range deck. I'm thinking we put it in. We do something cheeky and we splash US and throw in some Land of the Free to get that operation cost down to 0. That'll be funny. Hey Tony. Another special. U48. The enemy cannot deploy units next turn. Wow, so the Japanese have the you cannot play orders. Now the Germans have you cannot play units. That's really this one's worse, I think. This one's even nastier. German control wants this for sure. Basically takes away against the decks that you really want to take away their turn from. This takes away their turn. The mid-range and aggro decks can't play units and advance their game plan to take you out, and just for 3 credits. That's crazy. That's nasty. Yes, I have played Star Realms. Yes, I have. That's a decent one. I played it so much digitally though that I got tired of it. But it was fun. It was fun for a while it lasted. Flampanzer. Destroy target enemy unit with cost 1 or less. Okay, so they basically took the second half of the Panzer IV that they took away from it and added this. But I like this. I kind of wish this was on the Panzer IV still. Panzer IV used to say destroy target enemy unit with cost 1 with cost 2 or less instead. I kind of wish they had just changed it to a cost 1 or less instead, just to have more ways to deal with those pesky O4s that are so like prevalent in the format. But I admit that card probably too much power in one card. But I like that this effect, exists for that. So, and it's this is a decent for like a mid-range German Panzer focused deck, right? Because 3K3/4, the op cost is a little limiting. I kind of wish it was a 3K1/3/4 with this effect, but I mean that's still decent. There's a few 1 cost smokescreen things that are hard to deal with, so. I think, I don't know, because yeah, Imperial Decree kind of replaces the effects, right? But at the same time, you can just get a higher density of those kind of effects in your deck. So it will depend. It will depend on the kind of deck that you can build. Because if you can reasonably protect your aircraft, then they're better. But if you can't, and yeah, it's tough to, then Imperial Decree is just better. But if you just want a higher density of those kind of effects in your deck, I don't see why you wouldn't run Imperial Decree and Siren, for example. But yeah, Gecko's probably, even with the buff, I think it's not being played now just because of the effect. But hey, it's always there for budget burn lists, right? Like you got like, and it makes playing the archetype in draft more likely too, because there's just a higher number of cards that provide that effect. So I think Gecko still has its place in the game, just not constructed perhaps. P40 Tomahawk. Infantry units you deploy get +1/+1. Solid card, solid effect. We'll have to see how effective this really is, but there's no denying that that's a powerful text box. So we'll see. Another Flampanzer. I kind of wish it said... I'm asking for too much by saying I wish that Flampanzer had destroy target unit with cost 2 or less, aren't I? Because then it's like... Then it's a what's it called? Sudden strike stapled onto a tank. And that's far too good, I think. But reduce its operation cost down to 1 and I'm a happy boy. So 2 golds. Nothing that we haven't seen before, but hey, 2 golds. That's some nice resources or bling for our decks if we want to keep them. We're playing. There's a guard focused like naval support deck that I want to be trying at some point in this format, and this is a staple in that deck. So we're gonna try that too. I mean, if you just have a high density of those kind of effects in your deck, then every like sweeper, like the Japanese little pinging sweepers, become that much more effective. So there could very well be a deck, even in constructed, that plays all of them, like just all of the effects. And if there is, I'm very, very scared. I think we still need one more of that limited Italian Alpine unit. Will we see it? Sabotage. Ooh, the new big dumb French tank. I love big dumb tanks. 7k 2/4/4 mobilize heavy armor 2. So every turn this isn't damaged is going to get +1/+1. So even after like a couple turns, well, even on the first turn you get to operate this, assuming the enemy didn't hit it with something, it's a 5/5 heavy armor 2, which isn't bad. And the first time this is damaged, it's going to lose mobilize, but you're going to draw a card from it. So pretty good value. We're going to be playing with these two later, for sure, in a combined arms deck. That's going to be fun. Guys, we've only gone through a third of the packs. We still got a ways to go. But we're going to start going a little bit faster through these cards for sure. There we go. I think that's a full play set of Hummel that we have now. Another joint operation. That's awesome. We definitely want more of those. Special elite pack. First one. Here we go. Alpine. More Alpine units. Your Alpine units get Fury until end of turn. So if you have, let's say, a couple Alpine units in the front line, maybe they're not that big, because maybe they're the first couple Alpine units you played that turn, but then suddenly you drop this down. Now this artillery piece becomes a 3/4, and it's going to give those things Fury to deal some damage. Another human torpedo, so we now have a full play set of that. That's nice. First Yokosuka. 2k0, 1/3 Blitz Fury. Are you kidding me right now? Deployment gets +1 attack for each other friendly unit with 0 operation cost. Whoa, that is good. That is good. Remember how before I said I was interested in trying like a 0 operation cost deck? Well, guess what? This is the big elite that's going in that. This is good even outside of that. I mean, look at how like what. Okay, we can compare this, for example, to the other Blitz Fury infantry unit that exists in the game, the Fallschirmjäger in Germany. Another elite. That's a 2k1, 3-2. One of the biggest problems that it has, besides having to wait till turn 3 to play it, whereas this usually just play on turn 2, is that by the time you play it on turn 3, its 2 defense means that it's just very squishy, and it's often getting removed before you can take advantage of it. This, however, comes down a turn earlier and has 1 more defense. Yes, it has way less attack, but that can be modified. And even still, it doesn't matter. Play this on turn 2 and then Blitzkrieg the next turn, and like that's already a ton of damage. That's 8 damage. Plus, chances are you have a 1-cost troop that's in the front line doing stuff by that point. So that's a solid card. I'm interested in trying that out. Guys, let me know if my mic levels are too high when I get excited, because I'm getting excited. US Elite. P61 Black Widow. When Black Widow attacks, your air units operate for free this turn. Whoa. Remember that big beefy boy we saw earlier? That was 4 operation costs in your ramp deck? Maybe you play this guy with it. Those two together is a lot of damage in a turn for very little credits. But this is I don't know, maybe it doesn't have a home in that deck, but in a like more mid-rangey air deck, yeah, that's interesting. That's just a solid effect, solid card, and I love the name. Hummel, Hummel, Hummel. We for sure have a full playset of those guys now. Just like really letting me know, yeah, you have a full playset of Hummel. There we go. There's another one of those Panzer 3H. Definitely going to try that out in a Combined Arms deck. Combined Arms looks like so good in this set. Like, I don't know how good it's going to be, but it's going to be great. That's all I know. First Airborne Gold. Nice. I think I just skipped past something I haven't seen before. No, I think these are all new, or all something we've seen before. There we go. I think we have a full playset of those guys now. There's one other Alpine card we're missing, though. There's an Italian order. Man, I gotta just keep calling out card. I gotta just keep talking about certain cards, the ones that I want. Target friendly Alpine unit gets +1/+1. Add a copy of Tanya. This is the one I was just mentioning. I think this is the only other Alpine card we're kind of missing right now for that archetype that we want to try. I don't know how good it's gonna be. But I mean, duplicating Alpine units in theory should be very good. I feel like this might be a tad too expensive, but we're gonna definitely try it out, see how good it is. Okay, yeah, you know that one elite that like I really want? Yeah, that'd be cool if we got that. Oh no, it didn't work. Didn't work this time. Another KV2, sweet. Definitely gonna be playing around with those later today. See how tough they are for the enemy to deal with. Honorable Death. Destroy target unit with attack 2 or less. Owner of the unit draws a card. Okay. So it's a super... It's a like a 50% off sale on your sudden strikes over here, but the problem is the owner draws a card. Destroy target unit with attack... Oh, sorry, with attack 2 or less. Not, I'm thinking cost 2 or less. With attack 2 or less, owner of the unit draws a card. Okay. So I think... So that's kind of interesting. I feel like you're going to want to pair this card maybe with some of those attack reduction effects to hit something bigger. But then you're like spending 2 cards on 1, and then they're drawing a card. So, I don't know. We'll have to see how good that is. There are definitely some expensive units that have, or you can get their attack low enough where this is just an incredibly good trade, but it will depend on how easy it is for that to happen and how, you know, we'll have to see how the meta shapes to see how effective this card is, I guess. I mean, I guess you don't have to use it on enemy units. You could use it on your own when you're done with it. Trigger the deaths on one of your like cheap Japanese units. Then like, you know, on like Mito Regiment, for example. Hit them in the face. Target it with this. It deals another 2 damage to them. You draw a card. We'll see. There could be some interesting shenanigans you could do with this card. Another Eastern Front bound. That's good. I think we need 1 more of those. Spirit of Rome. This is a card we're going to try out later today. See how good it is. Friendly infantry unit gets +1/+1 for every defense your HQ has over the enemy. So in a healing deck, you heal up a bunch, you drop down a guard unit, then you just give it like +infinity. Another healing unit, that's nice. Got another one of those Osaka regiments, that's good. Golden boy over here. An elite and a special. Let's go with the special first. Panzer A, yep. We saw this one earlier. So now we have the 2 special new German tanks that at least that we've seen so far. So now we have a full playset of those, so that's nice. German elite, what do we got? Kriegsmarine. 7k order. Deal damage to enemy HQ equal to cards in enemy hand. Then enemy discards a card. Alright. Deal damage to enemy HQ equal to cards in enemy hand. So what do? You fill up their hand with resistance cards, then you deal damage to them. So at the most, this can ever only do 9 damage, right? Because the hand limit is 9. It's a hard limit of 9. But then they discard a card, so maybe it's not really maybe it's not really for a deck like that. Just like more German style burn, I guess. Kriegsmarine, that's cool. Another special. Panzer 2A, alright. We already have a playset of those, so that's just going to be 20 resources for us. Kagoshima Regiment. 3k1, 5-2 ambush, so decent stat line already, but HQs cannot gain defense. HQs cannot gain defense. That's a very powerful effect. Oop, I almost clicked the elite. Getting too excited. We gotta build up to it. There we go. Now I'll click it. Manchester 1A deployment. Add a precision bombing to your hand. Neat. That's all I can say. Neat. That's awesome. 7K364. So like not the greatest bomber necessarily, even in Britain, right? Like by the time you get up to costs like this, you have like blitz bombers that can do stuff. But I mean, add a precision bombing to your hand though. Notably, precision bombing receiving a little bit of a nerf with this latest patch. It now costs 4 instead of 3, but I mean, still. Yeah, that's a solid card. 15th Motor Rifles, another great addition to the Soviet mid-range plan to help them deal with burn a little bit more. Your HQ is immune. First of all, 1-5 guard for 3. Okay, not bad. But your HQ is immune to damage on enemy turns. So this is actually kind of effective as you're trying to turn the corner. You're like advancing to the front line. You're dealing damage to the HQ. You just need one more turn to finish them off. Praying that they don't rip an air blitz or Bismarck off the top. Then you drop this guy back in your support line. He's guarding your HQ. He's tanking a hit from a Comet or some other blitzy flyer, and you can't just be burned out by orders. Yeah, that's a nice little card. We got another First Marines, so there's all of our... Ooh, another German elite. Okay. Adler Command Vehicle. 1K111, your other tanks operate for 1 less. Oh, that's so cool. Your other tanks operate for 1 less. Oh, that's going to be fun to play with. I'm thinking this in a deck with the Fury tank. With the Stug 4. That could be particularly powerful. That is cool. We're just throwing that in every like little like Blitzkrieg deck that we're gonna be playing today for sure. Just to see how it goes. Another one of those guys. Oh, guys, we haven't even hit the halfway point yet. Haven't even hit the halfway point yet for these cards. Golden Hummel. That's nice. Joint operation. Okay, I think we have a full playset of that now. I'm pretty sure. Got a full playset of those First Marines. That's nice. Ooh. Elusive Force. That's our second one of those. So that's a full playset. Cool. Japanese elite. Let's see what it is. Desperate Measures. Deal 2 damage to all enemies. You lose a credit slot. That is interesting. So another Japanese sweeper on rate because it's 2 for 2. And it's even more if you have those order buffing cards, like damage buffing cards. But you lose a credit slot. But this could easily be a deal damage to all 4 enemies for 2, if you pair it with other cards. Yeah, no, I think that despite the losing a credit slot, that could be a a staple in like sweepers, like Japanese control decks, because I think they're going to be mostly based around the sweepers and buffing them with Sirens and stuff. That's cool. So we've hit the halfway point. We've been going for an hour and a half, and we've only opened half our packs. So let's speed this up a little bit so we can get into the games. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you guys are enjoying this. I know I like opening packs and cards because like the sound effects and like the feeling, it's so satisfying. I think we now have for sure we have a full playset of these now, right? This mobilize unit. We definitely want to try that guy later. I think that's our third or fourth deck on the schedule for today. Flampanzer, Mr. Healy infantry from the Soviets. We got them all now, I think. I don't know, guys. I think we have all of the... There's another honorable death. We're dying honorably. We can die honorably. Or we can make our enemy die honorably, whatever we so choose. Special and elite. Alright, let's see. 186th Fulgor. 2k1, 2-3 Blitz. When you deploy an Alpine unit, it gains Ambush. Interesting. So I was wondering if we get another Alpine unit, Alpine like related card. That's just a solid infantry unit for the cost. It's notably it's not an Alpine unit itself, but when you deploy one, it gets Ambush. Might have to, yeah, we might have to try that. Boom. Strategic planning. So this is a very different artwork than when they originally spoiled this card early on in the spoiler season, but 10k US order, double the attack and defense of your units. We're gonna see how good that card is perhaps at some point. I might make a deck that has this card in it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. To me, I don't think this card's very good. Just seems like a win more card to me, but we will see. It could be a fun part of a fun meme deck. I'm still thinking about that ambush guy, Zeke. Yeah, that's a solid card. We've seen this card before if you've been keeping up with the spoilers this past couple of weeks. 4k2, 4-3 ambush. Enemy countermeasures cost 2 more to activate. That's just a solid fighter, I think. Oh, 83rd Naval Brigade, 5k1, 4-4 ambush guard. Solid stat line and keywords with that. What else does it say? Deployment. Destroy an enemy unit that is damaged. Whoa, this is good. So it's a critical hit pasted onto a very decent unit. Destroy an enemy unit that's damaged. Wow, that's great. That is a sweet card. There are some fun elites in this set to play with. It's a very Russian-focused deck. Pack. Mud. There we go. We got mud. Enemy ground units cannot attack next turn. That's just a very powerful, potent effect. That is our second one of those. We have a full playset of mud. Second Alpini Regiment. I think we have all of these guys now too. Special. There's another Kagoshima Regiment. That's nice. And there's another Cromwell. So we have both. We have a full play set of both of these cards. I really want to try this one in a pin-based control deck. It might not be good, but we'll see. We'll see. It might not be good, but it's going to be fun. And this, I think, might be a really potent card in the format, but we'll have to see about that too. Because that's a card that a heal deck needs to answer. Another Soviet Elite. What could it be? Night Witches. We already got this card. Plus 80, and it gave me plus 80? I'm gonna have to note that. Night Witches. I think that's an error, unless I'm missing something. Because even if I had a duplicate copy of Night Witches, don't they deconstruct for more than? No, they don't. But I shouldn't get a second copy of Night Witches yet, right? Oh no! You know what that means then? That means I've gotten all of the Soviet elites in this set. Let's take a quick break and check that if that's true. That means I got all the Soviet elites in this deck, I think. Let's go to Allegiance. Let's go to Soviet and let's type in Elite and go to Show All. Yeah, we've opened all of the Soviet elites in this set. Crazy. Yeah, 80 that makes sense. 80 resources is what an elite should turn into. Yeah. Okay, that's a little disappointing. Really want to get more elites than that, but hey, while we're here, why don't we see? No, that means we have all the elites in the set, right? Because the way the elite mechanics work is you will always get an elite that you're missing. So we have opened up all of the elites in the set, guys. And we're only like just over halfway through all the cards. Wow. So there are 20 elites in this set. I'm guessing 2 for each nation? 1, 2 for Germany, right? There's no more Germans cards, I assume. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Two per nation. No, U.S. That's not. How many per nation? 3 per. Maybe more. Depends. There's 3 German elites. How many Soviet elites are there? We saw 4 before. 4 times 5 is 20, so there should be 4 per, right? It looks like Germany only has 3, so that means someone has 1 more. Is it Britain? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. They have a 5th? No. Why don't I just do this? 3, 4, 4, 4, 5. Okay. So Germany has 1 less, and Japan has 1 more. Cool. All right, so we've gotten all the elites in the set. Not that okay, no, let's not do this yet, because I don't want to spoil specials. We'll see if we can get all of those. Keep going. Hey, Troopa, thanks for joining us. I saw you for a while there. I was just excited about having realized that I opened up all the elites. Thanks for stopping by. And thanks for the follow earlier in the week. I noticed it. All right, well, there's another elite that we don't need, but that's 20 resources. 80 resources. Sorry, I'm thinking of specials. Specials give 20 when you don't need them. Stranglehold. This is a new one for Germany. When a unit is deployed, the enemy loses remaining credits. So I think German control is going to be very strong this game. And I think it looks to me like it might be strong enough that it doesn't have to lean so heavily on the discard mechanic, which would be nice because I hate that archetype. But we'll see. Yeah, but we'll see. Maybe it just makes that archetype even more annoying. But German control seems like a real thing in this set, for sure. 106 quartermasters. When you gain an extra credit slot, draw a card. Solid ramp payoff. It turns your war bonds into draw 3s, which is crazy. And you can play the turn before war bonds if you haven't ramped, but chances are you have, and you can like. There are actually a lot of times playing ramp decks where you tend to have like 9 resources up. I'm like, oh, if only I could play double war bonds. Now you can play that and war bonds. I actually could see you overdrawing sometimes though too, so you have to be careful of that. Alright, so we're just looking for more specials at this point. And the nice thing is that for every elite that we open, beyond, like, it might seem sad that we're getting elites that we don't need, but every elite that we get is a special that we're missing because it costs 80 resources to forge any special that we're missing. Plus, guys, there's always a chance that the elite is gold, and if it's gold, that's, what is that math-wise? That's 4 specials that we could forge with it, because that's 320 resources that we can get off of a gold elite if we pull it. So have no fear when you see an elite pop up. They're still very, very worthwhile to pull in these packs. That's the nice thing about this game. You can never pull duplicate elites, so you never have to feel bad about crafting one, because you will always get a different elite than one you have. Let's read this. Secret Operatives. Counter an order that targets a friendly unit. Give the unit +2 defense. That is so good. This is better than Interception. Oh, I mean, Interception is a standard. This is 2 rarity levels higher, so it should be. But, I mean, this is, like, strictly better than Interception. Fear not, Commandos players. You got some new tech here. Maybe your tank is a little more squishy, but I mean, I guess it was always squishy to orders anyway. The nerf just made it more squishy to units, but whatever. That's still a good card. That's still a great new addition to that archetype. I love the artwork on that card too. A lot of action. Gold. Remember when I said I should like call out the things more often? That's awesome. So we already have a Tomahawk, but that's a gold Tomahawk. So now we just got 4 specials that we want. 4 specials that we want. Okay, anything that doesn't have a special or elite in it, we're definitely just like rapid firing through, because I think at this point we have everything. And we gotta jump into some games. We gotta play with these cards. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna look. We're just gonna click through all of them. If we hit a special, we're gonna read it. If it's something we don't have, there's our second Stranglehold. Now we have a full play set of those. Through all the pack opening, we've also gained 1,000 resources. I started today with just over 4,000 at 4,001, and now we have we've gained another 1,000 materials to craft with. So, note to self, 300 packs of Allegiance, that's like a full playset, pretty much. I think by the end of this, we're going to have pretty much a full playset. There's another Cromwell. Oh, there's another Char 1 Biz, giving them the business. Oh, I said I wouldn't do that anymore. Just gotta go. Just gotta go. Oh, another second brigade. That's nice. See if we can't get all the specials by the end of this. We'll see how many we have to craft. We've gotten like 4 of those guys. That's to be expected. We have opened a lot of packs today. A gold second brigade. All right. We can either bling out our mobilized deck, or we can just turn that into a special that we want. Another Stranglehold. Arming the Resistance. We're going to read this one. This one's new. Add a resistance card to enemy hand, then double the number and cost of such cards. It's dirty. The resistance, man. The resistance is strong. Another Manchester. A gold Super Fortress. Sweet. I don't think we're gonna break that one down. I think we gotta give him the business a few times with our golden Super Fortress first before we think about dusting that one. Golden First Marines, nice, nice. At the start of your turn, each non-fringing. Yeah, okay, we've seen this one before, and we've. I think that's our second one of that. So now we have that. Speaking of Black Widow, did anyone see that Black Widow trailer? I'm kind of hyped for that. Human Torpedo, already have a full play set of that, but hey, that's 20 resources. 20 resources in the bank. Holy smokes with the elites, guys. But you know what? I'm not complaining. Those are just all the specials that we're missing. All right, we're at an hour 47 for pack opening so far. We gotta go. We gotta get this under 2 hours. This YouTube video is too long already. How's the stream stats, by the way? As I say that, let's waste more time. As long as the stream's going well, not dropping any frames or anything, that's good to see. That's a new one to me. 111th Indian Brigade. When your HQ gains defense, it gains 1 extra defense. Wow. And it's a 1K1-1-3 Fury. I'm not even sure I care about that second line of test. I'm just thinking of putting this in like a defense buffing deck, and then putting this in the front line, giving it like naval power or naval support, naval whatever, and then hitting the enemy. That's cool though. That's just a solid card. A golden Char. Nice. Another commando. I wish I could put 2 of those in the deck. Sadly, it's an elite. Only 1. Nice. We were missing that guy. Getting geared up. I think we have all the Alpine related cards now. No, not quite. We need 1 more artillery, and we need the other thing that gives Alpine units ambush, and then we have a full Alpine play set. And that's deck number 1 on the schedule for today. That's the first deck we're going to jump into and start playing very soon. As soon as we open the rest of these packs. There we go. There's the one. There's the one we were missing. We're getting some good RNG today. Although it kind of helps that we're opening up a ton of packs. Nice, another 15th motor rifles, perfect. All the specials that I want, I've been getting, so pretty pleased with this, with the pulls that we've gotten today. Less than 50 packs to go. Another Super Fortress. And another Black Widow. All right then. Holy smokes. So many elites. Now, to be fair, guys, if you had pre-ordered the Allegiance package, everyone you pre-ordered gave you a guaranteed 2 elites. So 6 of these elites, technically speaking, were kind of guaranteed. But still, I feel like we've gotten a lot of elites. Like I said. Another Golden 2nd Brigade, wow. What is this? Just checking my notifications, guys. It looked like we've dropped some frames. Let me know if if we're okay now. It looks like no, it looks like we're dropping some frames here. I might restart the stream after we're done opening these packs and see if we can fix this issue. Okay, hold on. We're gonna end the stream. I don't want to ruin the recording, so we're just gonna power through this and then restart the stream, and hopefully we won't. Hopefully we can resolve the issue. Hopefully it's not too bad though. No golds, unfortunately. This is the last pack, I think. There we go. All right, before we end this recording, let us just look at the set and see if we're missing anything. Mostly interested in if we're missing any of the specials. What we didn't pull. So we didn't get 2 of these guys. Enemy units cost 2 more to operate next turn. Enemy units cost 2 more to operate next turn. Okay. Strafing. Choose one. Destroy target artillery unit or pin all units in the front line. T80. This one I really wanted, but unfortunately we didn't get any. T80, so we're going to have to craft some of those. Pacts of Steel, M4A1. Can't be targeted with enemy orders. There's the other order card. Draw this unit from deck if enemy makes you discard. Nice anti-discard tech. That is cool. What else we got here? Tiger 1E. 8K3, 7/7 heavy armor 2. Cannot be targeted by enemy orders. There's a few of these in the game, eh? That's cool. I have to play around with that one too. All right, guys, I'm going to end the stream. It seems like we're experiencing some issues now, so I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to end this recording here.